You are doing a disservice to yourself and your group by being a bad DM. And what I mean by this is not the stereotypical ways of being a bad DM, like being a bad battle planner, being a poor storyteller, having not enough prep time ready for campaigns. All these are really important into giving you a successful game session or campaign overall. But one thing that's often left out of the conversation when it comes to being a DM is the mindset we carry into our campaigns. Because if you don't come in with this amount of respect that you should be showing your players in terms of having them spend 3, 4, 5, 6 hours of the free time going into your world, and you're very much lackadaisical or not putting the same amount of effort back and not the same amount of accountability onto yourself of being a DM, then the campaign is going to suffer. It's not going to reach the heights that it possibly could, and it's going to fall flat. And that's what we're going to talk about today. How our mindset and going into these different sessions, into these campaigns, into being a DM overall can really affect the enjoyment of our players and how we might not realize it. If that sounds interesting and you want to, tag along, feel free, but I'm just the dreadful DM, or just join in and let's get right into it. So I want to start off with a personal account of how I stumbled upon this topic. It's no like really big epiphany, it's just because something I realized in the campaign I run. I run for a group of 3, I'm the DM, and we've been having a really good time. But something I've been realizing recently in terms of our conversations or talking outside of sessions or session days is that they really look forward to D&D and they're really excited for this whole campaign and story that I set up for them. They talk about it like daily. They want to interact with the world more. They want to play with the characters they made. They want to play with these new characters they've introduced. They want to interact with NPCs, see storylines, little things that are left here and there. And they want to interact with it so much, and they're so excited. They get upset and sad when I have to cancel or postpone sessions. They get really excited when I'm like, hey guys, there will be a session this week. They're like, oh yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm looking for. And they're just really happy for it. And myself personally, I've kind of taken it for granted in some aspects because I am a little bit spoiled when it comes to D&D. I've been inundated with it. I have another group where I'm a player with my group in college, and I get to play that weekly. I play Magic the Gathering a lot, so I get social interactions with games that type of way. I've been getting into Warhammer, talking with my coworkers with it, and having interaction that way. So when it comes to just like this aspect of my whole D&D playing and just with my friend group like on the weekends, it's not seeing it as a whole event, as a whole thing that I should be prepping a lot of time into and should be taken very seriously, and I'm taking a lot of personal love and effort into it. I do to a certain extent, but at the same time, I have the mindset of like, hey, this is a time where I can just hang out with my friends for 3 to 4, 5 hours and just have a really fun time. But I realize that's doing a disservice to them. That is giving them a half measure because the amount of effort and time they've been putting into it, and while I'm just here like, oh yeah, this should be like a little bit of planning here and there, have a rough storyline and a couple of just battle maps ready, and we're good. But I realize they deserve more because they have been putting so much effort and energy into this, and I have not been doing the same. Like recently, the amount of prep time I've had for my sessions has increased. In the past, it has been only 3, maybe 4 hours. Have a rough storyline outlet, set some like some of the maps, battle maps on Owlbear, and just call it a day. But I've moved to Foundry recently, and setting that whole thing up has been just say fun. It's very intensive. I had to mess with my internet. It's been a great time, but it is something that they deserve. They've been really hoping, and they've been wanting to interact with the world more, to have different ways of viewing it, and having more agency within my campaign without just me just talking to them. Because theater of the mind is great, but when we have the opportunity to do something like have a visuals and move around tokens and stuff like that, it amplifies the game, and they deserve that. They deserve to have more agency within the world, have more freedom, do what they want more, have more explanations how they do things. They just really take so much care and so much effort into these games that I feel that I've let them down in many aspects when it comes to being a DM, when it comes to the effort and energy I put into some things. Because when I have just this mindset of being chill and relaxed and just kind of a time to hang out, but they're out here taking it as a very serious and the thing that they really been hoping for, there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect there, and it's something that I'm trying to bridge and make up for. And that's kind of when I talk about how we can as DMs maybe improve in the future with this aspect. So as you can see, being a DM is not just doing funny voices or getting ready for some roleplay and having some battle maps ready. It requires a certain level of accountability and responsibility. Because as you saw from my account that, when I'm just out here going in as a more like a hanging out and just laid back time, but my friends are putting multiple hours of the weeks and personal time into wanting for their characters, storylines, interaction with different NPCs to go well, then there's a disconnect there. And that's how we need to bridge that and make sure that the same amount of effort they're putting in, we're putting in. If your group is more laid back and just wants to do a dungeon crawl and have funny stick and hit, go bonk on a guy, then that's more than fine. Then you're cool with kind of having laid back, maybe drinking like a 2-drink limit or whatever, and just having a good session. But when your team is looking for good role play, good battle, important interactions, good storylines, then there's a certain extent that you should put onto yourself where you're like, oh, I need to actually lock in. I need to look at this and really buckle down and give the same amount of energy that my group is giving, because that can really just hinder you. That puts a ceiling to what you can reach. And even if you try to maybe do more, if you're not ready for it mentally, if you haven't prepped for it properly, then you can't go past it. There's a certain level that you just just innately put onto your campaign that you can't break through, because you're not giving the same amount of effort and time. When you're just half-ass like a storyline or an outline for what's going to happen and throw some battle maps together, then yeah, that nothing good's going to happen there. Or you just throw some random scene up on like to Foundry, and it's going to not feel as important as it should, and it's going to let down your players, because when they're ready for this but you're not ready for a role-playing scene, you're not ready for a certain interaction with their group that you might have not expected, so you have to like kind of pivot a little bit. That's how you prep. So you prep not just for one storyline or get ready for it and have mentally ready for that, but you prep and get ready for how your group plays for stuff when it goes off the rails, so you know how they interact and how to like reel them back in or steer them into the right direction so they don't get too far off the beaten path. When you put that amount of time and effort into it, and to outside of the game, and you see it inside the game, it's really good, and your players feel natural, that, oh, that felt really nice. But when it feels choppy, when you're not ready, when you're kind of just looking at your phone and not really putting the same care that they're doing to, and they say something or do something you're not ready for, and you're like, oh, what? And you have to panically throw something together, and it's obvious that you weren't ready for it, and you should probably do something more and do something better, then yeah, you should probably improve it a little bit better. But there's just so many times and opportunities where it's obvious that you need to put more effort or do something more or try more in terms of being a DM, in terms of being a good friend. And because when you're just basically taking for granted your friend's time and you're just like, oh yeah, just go out there and do what you want, and you throw some half-ass accent or just interaction between people, and you're just like, oh yeah, you get through, or you do this, okay, yeah, that works, okay, go for it. And there's no challenge, there's no way of like feeling that they succeeded in something, then that's just really taking away the fun that your players have. And slowly seeing your players go from like a novice, in my case, they went from like a novices not knowing too much to slowly min-maxing the builds and getting characters that are a little more difficult to plan around, like doing the whole halfling luck thing. So whenever they roll in that one, they can just re-roll it, and they've done that so many times already, they get a little bit mad. No, it's stuff like that when you see them wanting to improve and wanting to get better at the game, and you're just stuck into this mindset, oh, I'm just gonna hang out and not do too much, not try to grow as a storyteller, not try to get better as a planner in terms of encounters, not trying to give more prep time for myself to make sure these sessions go off on the hitch. There's so many things we can do to improve our games, but when we're just so stuck into like, oh yeah, whatever, in whatever mindset, whatever mode, or just to a blah and interpretation of what a game should be, it's in hindering yourself so much. And there's ways to get past it, but when you're just not willing to, you're gonna have bad sessions. You're gonna have times when your friends are kind of let down, or things don't like really work well because you're not ready. You're not ready for how your players act. You're not ready for them to be better, and you're just kind of stuck in this weird mindset. It's not good, and we need to get better at that. And something I just want to talk about today. So yeah, mindset's really important when it comes to D&D and how we approach our games. You can see from my, personal account, when you have your players who are putting so much time and effort outside of the game to learn their characters, improve in terms of the mechanics, and get better. When I like, for example, my players were very much novices. Two of the three never played D&D before, and they got into it and they're learning about it more. They're trying out more mechanics. The new characters they made are a little more in depth, a little more complicated. One of them is a halfling, so whenever the halfling luck thing happens, they get to roll that nat one, and that throw me off so much because I want to screw them over, but I just can't. So I'm like, damn it! It's a fun time seeing them actually care about the game and wanting to improve and get better and learn how to min max a little bit. It's really fun. And but I realized, oh, I need to step up too because they're wanting to get more out of this. But when I'm unable to give them more as a DM, when I'm the one stopping them, not this no longer them stopping themselves. I'm stopping them. Then I need to get better. I need to like buckle down and actually provide the effort that I should have been giving them prior. That's why I moved to Foundry. That's why I'm doing more. That's why I'm paying for like map packs here and there, so I can actually have better visuals, better sounds, better music, everything. So they feel more invested and they want to put more effort in, so they don't feel like, oh, I'm not. Why am I putting so much effort into this? That's how you can get better. Is when you realize that your players are showing the willingness and actual action of getting better or wanting to improve or interacting with the world. You need to do the same. You need to be wanting to get better as a storyteller, getting better as a battle planner, having more prep time so you're ready for your players' different interactions or different ways they can make decisions in your world. There's things like this. But when you have the mindset of being like, oh, we're just here to chill and relax, and you're the one bringing down your players, it's no longer the other way. You're the one stopping everyone from having a good time. That's a bad. And no matter how much planning you might do, like, oh, maybe you spend a couple more hours of session prep. Maybe you try to write a better storyline, but when you give that energy a blah, you're gonna get blah out of it. And when you don't attune to your players, it's gonna be a weird disconnect and mismatch. And that goes the opposite way around. If you're a player and your DM is really trying to give you a good session, planning so much, have so many different NPCs, and trying to give you so much flavor in the world that you can interact with, go to, and maybe fight, talk to, get different, just so many different things you can interact with. But you're just here, just okay, yeah, whatever. Let's just go to the main quest, and you just ignore all the side things the DM put into the world that feels lived in. Then you're cheating yourself out of enjoyment as well. It goes both ways. Right now, I'm talking about the DM side because dreadful DM, haha. But that's just it. When you're the one just hindering everybody from having a good time, that's the problem. And there are many ways you can change your mindset. It's like it's all more psychological thing than anything, it's just how you approach it. And you can just slowly start making things and realize, oh, let me take care of maybe writing better plot and storylines. Maybe try to actually write something down that's not just very stereotypical hero's journey. Maybe throw in some more morally gray characters and maybe provide more tougher choices, more moral kind of conundrums of different ways. It's going to suck. It's going to be difficult initially because when you're starting off as writing, your writing is going to suck. No one starts off amazing. Well, of course, there might be one or two people, one of you two gifted bastards out there. But for most of the general population, it's going to be a little bit difficult and it's going to sound rough. But the more you put into it, the more you practice, the more you train, the more you change your mindset into be like, I want to provide something good, it's going to improve. It's going to do more. It's like the same thing with everything. When going to the gym, when you're trying to lose weight, when you don't have a good mindset and you just eat like shit outside of it, you're not going to see improvement. But when you restrict yourself into like really wanting to be better and trying to make improvements, you're going to see when you get in a better diet, eat cleaner food, take out sugars, all that stuff, you're going to see improvements in the gym. And it's just like this: when you don't take half measures when it comes to writing, whenever you don't just railroad everyone down a certain track of how things should go, and you open it up a little bit, possibilities, different things they can change and do, that's the good stuff. That's what's important for D&D. That's how you improve and change your mindset. Just wanting to get better. And that does not panacea that's like, oh, this is what you need to think when going to a session. You'll see thousands of videos on YouTube or like, this is the one trick that like Brennan Lee Mulligan uses. This is what Matt Mercer is to make D&D battle amazing or whatever. And of course, those are good videos. Those are ways to like learn and be better DMs, but it's simply trying to provide the same energy that your players are giving. That's one of the main key things. You don't have to like do the one secret trick that everyone knows. You just have to try. That's the most important thing, is trying. It is something that's often left out. because you can go into the highest lofty aspects of I'm going to make the best D&D session in this world, but when you don't try to, when you don't actually put the effort into planning and doing all the things that are necessary in terms of providing a good session, like for Foundry, making the walls in terms of the like in the environment, so when you just throw a random battle map there and everything is visible and everyone's like, oh, I can see everything, okay, cool. But when you decide to put walls and make maybe ambushes around corners that they can't really see and then prep for that, and that's something you have to put in the back of the mind, that gets them more into the immersiveness of the game, so you don't break their immersion. My immersion, the mountain times the immersion got broken because I have a wall a little bit. Sorry, whatever. But it's stuff like that. When you just try, to make the mindset change, when you try to get better and try to do little things that you might not realize really does into improving a campaign, that's what you need to do. That's how you improve in this. That's how you get better. That's how your sessions get better. It's simply trying and wanting to get better. It's gonna suck. It's gonna be cringe at some parts when it comes to writing a story. Is your battles might be lopsided one way or another. It might be a little bit, not so much fun for your players, or a little anticlimactic because that was really easy. It's stuff like that where you can try to do and improve and change and get better. But it's gonna take some time. It's just a mindset change can really help and improve games more than maybe just planning for an extra hour or two. Maybe just writing a little bit more down. Maybe that doesn't really do too much, but just that mindset change can really improve your campaign and your session and just your enjoyment for everyone. And that which it's just something that's been left out a lot, and that's something I've just been thinking about, because for me personally, it's an issue that I run into, and I was hoping that I can just spout and yell into ether. Hopefully maybe someone can relate to it and find something out of this video. But that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about, and I'm just gonna head out to my final thoughts. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Another quick little one. It's something I wanted to rant about because it's something I've realized in myself that I need to get better at, something I needed to do more for my players so they have a more enjoyable time, and hopefully people can relate. And if you can relate, put in the comments how you might have tried to improve, because I'm trying to get better as well. But that's pretty much it for today. Nothing really much else. I have another video coming out from my boy Assassin, who's editing it. That should be out within the next week or so. But another video from Alex, who's also been editing. I've been trying to do more, putting out more content because it's fun. I like yapping. I like talking. I like talking about my interests and stuff like that. I might put a gameplay video of like the new 007 one. That seems like really fun. Yeah. Yeah. Hope you had a good day. Now go walk. It's good for yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically. But yeah, have a good rest of your day. Yeah.